Hello beautiful babes and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video we're going to be talking about your genitals. Again, it's kind of like a theme now, right? Sexual education. We're going to be talking about the most common STDs and STIs, their symptoms, treatments, and just facts about them. So let's just go ahead and get started. I wanted to make this video is because STDs, STIs, and just sex in general is something that society makes us feel like we should be ashamed about or guilty about. And I just don't believe that. I don't think anyone should ever feel ashamed or guilty about having consensual sex. So with that being said, I don't think that anyone should ever be ashamed of getting an STD, an STI, or whatever, because it doesn't make you disgusting. It doesn't make you a slut. It just makes you, it's like you caught a cold, but instead of someone sneezing on you, you got it from an anal orgy. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so first I want to talk about how we prevent STDs or STIs or contracting one from the person that we're having sex with. Well, unfortunately, birth control, IUDs, spermicides, anything like that, they do not prevent STDs or the contraction of an STD. The only contraception that prevents STDs is a condom. So even though you're on birth control and you're having sex, and you might be having like a crazy sex life, and that's awesome, but know that your birth control is just going to keep you from getting pregnant, maybe. But it will not keep you from contracting an STD. Only a condom will. Now, with that being said, a condom cannot protect you from HPV. HPV, aka human papillomavirus, is a sexually transmitted disease that you can get from having sex anally, orally, or vaginally. But you can also get it from skin-to-skin contact. So that means that if you are dry humping or anywhere around the genital area, like the top of your thighs or anything around your goodies, and you're rubbing them with a partner, that is another way to pass on HPV, even though you have a condom on. People with HPV don't even show any symptoms, but that doesn't mean that they won't infect other people. Some of the symptoms of HPV include genital warts or warts in your genital area, and that's pretty much it. So you could have HPV and not know it. So that's why it's so important to get tested, because HPV causes 70% of cervical cancers. Not only that, it's been linked to anal cancer, penile cancer, oral cancer, and anus cancer. Anal cancer, which was really hard for me to say with a straight face, but like, if you guys seen Insatiable, like, you get it, because like they do this whole thing about anal cancer. Why is it so weird to say anal cancer? But anyways, so HPV is known to cause a lot of cancers, especially cervical cancer. And there is a vaccine. I'm still thinking about anal cancer. It's like replaying in my head. It's like a broken record player in my head, like anal cancer, anal cancer. I wonder what it looks like. Oh, why did I do that? So there are antivirals for HPV, but usually your body can create antibodies to fight off the virus, and you can usually be clear of the virus within 1 to 2 years. But there's also a vaccine for it, and I'm sure you guys have seen the commercial, like, I want to be one this, like they're like doing like the jump roping and shit. But so there is a vaccine, and it's called Gardasil. Before, they recommended it to be only adolescents, but now you can get it until the age of 45. So if you guys are worried about HPV, or you guys are having like an active sex life, I would really look into getting the vaccine. Okay guys, let's talk about my favorite STD. Like, why am I so fucking weird? Literally on like my news channels, like I have it set for like all the health and like health journals. Like, that's what I do. Like, that's what I do at night. I read health journals and read shit about diseases, like infectious diseases. Like, fuck yes, make me come. Anyways, we probably shouldn't be talking like that when we're talking about STDs, but I have such a funny story about chlamydia. But I don't want to tell it because she was my friend, you know what I'm saying? But moral of the story, she shit in my car. Wow, no, I have to elaborate on that. So chlamydia is one of the most common STDs. You always hear about it, like the college STD. Well, one of my friends in college actually got chlamydia from her boyfriend, and they gave she, I think I already said she. So they gave her an antibiotic, and instead of giving like not broad spectrum, but like a 7-day antibiotic, they just give you one. I don't know, it might just depend on the doctor, but they just gave her one big horse pill. And she took the pill, and without like reading any side effects or anything, like we were driving, and she's like, oh my god, I'm gonna shit. And I was like, bro, shut the fuck up. No, that bitch shit her pants. And it was because of the antibiotic. So fair warning, if you have chlamydia and you're gonna take that antibiotic, wear Pampers that day. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so anyway, so some people who have chlamydia actually have no symptoms, but some of the symptoms can include abdominal pain, pelvic pain, and the most common symptom of chlamydia is abnormal discharge from either male or female. So yes, the male will have abnormal discharge as well. You can get chlamydia in the cervix, the rectum, or in your mouth. And the funny thing about chlamydia is, I don't know if it's so funny, probably not for anyone that has had this happen, is you can actually transfer it to your eye. So that means if you are doing anything down there with your hands and you don't wash your hands afterwards, you can actually transfer it to your eyes, and it will create like discharge coming out of your eyes, kind of similar to symptoms of pink eye. So if you're having something weird going on down there and then it starts going on up here, you should definitely go see your doctor. And the thing about chlamydia is it's like a UTI on crack. So if you get chlamydia, don't feel ashamed and don't be embarrassed, because all you have to do is take an antibiotic and it is cured. Unlike some STDs that can't be cured, chlamydia can. It's no big deal, girl. So let's talk about gonorrhea. I don't know why I sound so excited about that. So gonorrhea and chlamydia have very similar symptoms, but gonorrhea is actually more serious because if left untreated, it can cause infertility. So some of the symptoms of gonorrhea actually mimic like a severe UTI. So same with chlamydia. Gonorrhea, you can get it in your mouth, your rectum, or your vagina. But the good thing about gonorrhea, though it could cause infertility if it wasn't treated, so you want to catch it early. The good thing about gonorrhea is, just like chlamydia, it can be treated with antibiotics like doxycycline and other antibiotics. So it is a treatable STD. Okay, so now let's talk about herpes. So we all know about herpes. Everyone that has ever tried to teach us about sex has always brought up herpes, and it's incurable, and it's like the monster of STDs, like next to HIV. But in reality, herpes is just literally genital or oral warts. And what that means is it's a virus, and it's always going to be active in your blood, but you're not always going to have flare-ups. And herpes does not cause serious health problems, and it's not fatal. So if you know someone, or if you were recently diagnosed with herpes, just know it's not the end of the world, and it's something that you can live with and live a perfectly normal life with. Okay, so with herpes, it's probably like has the most recognizable symptoms. Obviously the warts around your anal area, your vaginal area, and in your mouth. So the difference between like the HPV warts or other STD warts is that the herpes warts are known to be very painful. So if you're having like a sore, an ulcer, or an open wound that's not healing around your vagina, your butt, or in your mouth, make sure you go see the doctor. And if it is painful, it might be herpes. And so a lot of people actually have herpes now and just have never been diagnosed with it, and they've never had a flare-up, so they don't know they actually have it. Flare-ups are usually most common when your immune system is down. So when you have a cold, or you're sick, or you're not getting enough rest, or you don't have enough vitamins, that's usually when flare-ups happen. So someone can have it and not have a flare-up, and can be having sex with people unprotected and giving it to them. So though herpes is not curable, there is medication to manage it, such as antivirals and immune system boosting supplements. So what that means is there is an antiviral, but it's not like an antibiotic. It doesn't kill the virus. I think it just puts it into like an inactive state where you get less flare-up. So now we're going to talk about syphilis. And of all of the STDs that I'm talking about, syphilis is one of the most dangerous ones, because the symptoms come in stages, and there's actually a final stage in syphilis that can cause brain damage, nerve damage, and eye damage, and heart damage. I said and a lot, but syphilis just freaks me the fuck out, right? Was it Beethoven who had it? Or suspected to have syphilis, because he went blind and he was still playing the piano, and they think that the syphilis is what caused him to go blind. First stage of syphilis is going to be painless sores in your genital area, your anal what the fuck? Why do I keep trying to say anus? Your anal area, and in your mouth. So as opposed to herpes, these sores are going to be painless. Okay, so the second stage of syphilis is actually a rash. And when I did my research on WebMD, it said that it's most common in the palms and in the feet. But I'm going to insert some pictures here and here of some examples of a syphilis rash. So the third stage is what I talked about earlier, and that's the stage where it causes brain damage, nerve damage, eye damage, and heart damage. So the symptoms of this are usually fatigue, weight loss, loss of appetite, which usually go hand in hand, swollen lymph nodes, like malice, so anything like an extreme flu-like symptom. So really you want to catch it in the first couple stages, because once you're to the final stage, there's already irreversible damage. Do I have syphilis? Because I don't know how to speak English. So the only great thing about syphilis is that it can be cured. It can be cured with antibiotics like chlamydia and gonorrhea. It's just if it doesn't get cured or treated, it can have a lot worse side effects and outcomes than chlamydia and gonorrhea. So let's talk about hepatitis B, or just hepatitis in general. So let's break down the word hepatitis. So hepa meaning liver, itis meaning inflammation. So it really just means inflammation of the liver, which is caused by an infection that is transmitted via sexually, body fluids, or blood. You know, so don't share needles. Don't use needles. Oh my God, like don't use needles in general. What the fuck? Don't share needles. Replace them, recycle. No, don't recycle needles. That would cause, what the fuck? So to prevent hepatitis B, there is a vaccine. The symptoms of hepatitis B, if you think like it would kind of replicate like liver failure. So you're going to be jaundiced, you're going to have yellowing skin, yellowing eyes, you're going to be fatigued, you're going to feel like shithole, you're going to fucking want to kill yourself, you're going to fucking hate yourself, you're going to take ibuprofen like it's a fucking drug. Yeah, I think I used all the medical terminology I needed to, you know, get across what I needed to say about hepatitis. Now we're going to talk about HIV. And out of all of these STDs, I think HIV is, you know, reasonably the most scary of the STDs because it is incurable and it can be deadly if it's not caught in the beginning stages. So first, I want to get out of the way that HIV is not a gay man's disease. If you think that, you're a fucking dumbass, okay? That was debunked years and years ago. Now let me explain to you why gay men are more likely to catch the STD, HIV. Why I dramatically paused so many times during that, I don't know. It's actually not gay men, it's people who participate in anal sex. So as we all know, if you watch like Pornhub, men are not the only ones that engage in anal sex. So it's more of an anal sex disease. And the reason for that is, so if you're having anal sex and the person ejaculates, I'm trying to like, how do I say this and not laugh? Okay, so if you're having anal sex and the person ejaculates in your rectum is not a naturally cleaning organ like your vagina is, right? So your vagina works to clean things out and clear things out after sex, like you pee and everything and things come out. And like, why am I 12? Why am I fucking 12? But your rectum doesn't do that. So what that means is that the semen is sitting inside of the rectum, and the longer your body is exposed to the HIV virus, the more likely you are to catch it. So that's only because the rectum doesn't clean itself. So you can still catch it vaginally. Don't get me wrong, you can still catch it vaginally, but you're more likely to catch it anally because it sits in the rectum longer. And that's the only reason, because the vagina will naturally clean it out faster, but you can still catch it that way. But again, in the rectum, it doesn't clean itself and the semen can sit there longer, making you more likely to catch the disease. So what is HIV? HIV is human, I had to look because I don't ever know like words, is human immunodeficiency. So what's the difference between HIV and AIDS? So I put it this way. HIV is like the beginning stages of AIDS, right? AIDS happens when HIV goes untreated and there's irreversible damage to your immune system, right? So that's pretty much what HIV and AIDS do. They compromise your immune system and kind of attack it so it's not working properly. So if you have HIV for a long time, your immune system is going to be damaged to a point that it can never be fixed. And that's when you have AIDS. And when you have full-blown AIDS, it's not the actual AIDS that kills you, it's the complications of AIDS. So what that means is that AIDS makes you susceptible to any infection around you. You have no immune system whatsoever. And so if somebody has a cold and they come up to you, and if you catch that cold, you're going to die from the cold because your immune system isn't working at all. So that's what AIDS is. And then HIV is just kind of like you would think like the precursor to AIDS, but it's not full-blown AIDS. And with HIV, you can live a normal, healthy life with a normal lifespan. So like herpes, which is a virus that is incurable. HIV is treated with antivirals, immune boosters that can keep you living a normal, healthy life. And that's the thing. There's, in the 1980s when HIV was first discovered, it was a death sentence. But now people have normal life expectancy because there is treatment for HIV. So if you know anyone that was just diagnosed with HIV, or you were just diagnosed with HIV, just know that you can live a normal life. And there are communities out there for people who are living with HIV, herpes, any kind of chronic illness that is incurable. So I'm going to leave some of those websites down below to help you guys out, and maybe you can do some more research for yourself. But yeah, HIV is no longer a death sentence. HIV is spread through infected blood, semen, or vaginal fluids. So same with hepatitis B. Let's talk about some of the symptoms of HIV. So the symptoms are, I have to look at this because there's a lot. Pain while swallowing, I fucking hate myself. Pain while swallowing, dry cough, fatigue, fever, soreness or swelling of the groin area, night sweats, loss of appetite, mouth ulcers, severe unintended weight loss. HIV is the most severe out of all of these STDs. But if you catch HIV, just know there's a life ahead of you, and there's no, you can't, and also if you're like going to a club or something and you meet somebody who has HIV, just know you can't catch HIV by hugging them, holding their hand, dancing with them. Like, don't be that asshole who's like, oh, I can't touch you. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're having sex with them or like fucking cutting them and doing like the fucking blood truce, you're gonna be okay. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I hope you guys learned something and, maybe educated yourself about not putting a stigma on people with STDs, or not feeling like you should be ashamed if you've ever had an STD or if you have an STD now. So, I mean, the point of my video is just to make people feel like they're good enough just the way that they are. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. So make sure you comment down below if you guys have any video ideas for me, and I'll see you guys in my next video.